like a free cap. I don't really think you need more than one. I think it'd be better to have something like a Stingray or an Inkstorm kind of on the back end there. But here we go. I believe this is going to be the real game. They are not going with the 10 Umbrella. Good stuff there.
Unfortunate. Never lucky. But we are seeing instead Mifa, who is an absolute menace at Squidstorm, coming out with the Range Blaster. It's such a nice weapon. It has that Inkstorm, which has seen a lot of popularity recently. And again, for zones, it's something that's so nice to have. It could likely cover both zones, or at least get some ink on both zones, as we see an early double kill here on the side of Saikai. One going down there, Bruce getting a revenge kill there, and it's going to be Saikai taking the early advantage here. Still, SKR kind of sharking around those zones. They haven't been backed up over by their spawn just yet.
Right, that was actually really weird, the positioning coming out from, which team was that? Spicy Kraken rolls there. Unless my perspective of where we are on the... What is happening? Why is the entirety of both teams are fighting on this ledge? That was just like everybody was packed in this one corner, and it looked like it was Spicy Kraken rolls that came out on top there, although I'm honestly not entirely sure. That was really, really weird. And it's weird because Saikai, they got it down to 69 points, and I don't honestly know why that was. It looked like Spicy Kraken Rolls was dealing more with the team fights than they were with actually trying to hold the objective, which I guess like Saikai is going to take that. You know, they're happy about that.
Yeah, SKR somehow was able to get the zone for 9 points, but SKR not able to hold on. Saikai grabbing it back here, and now Spicy Kraken Rolls trying to rally the troops here as Mifa's going to go down. An early pick there for Saikai, but Brandon also following. Chip going to expend that Inkjet with the Octobrush to try and make sure that zone is painted. They'll get rid of their penalty pretty easily. So far, map control definitely in favor of Saikai. SKR looking for an opportunity to get in, which on Blackbelly is not the easiest thing to find.
Drop roller. PogChamp.
That's a PogChamp, my dude.
That is a PogChamp. So, as I said earlier, actually, hold on. That is 4 specials at the ready on Saikai right now. They're going to be... Oh, sorry. Spicy Kraken Rolls, my bad. They're going to be pushing in with that. And yeah, they did use the 4 specials to take the zone there. Fantastic job. It's 2 down now on the side of Saikai. As I said earlier, the Inkjet now, it's not so much of this power health slaying special. It's more of like a zoning kind of defensive painting tool. And that's exactly how Chip was using it there. He used it to take the zones. He used it to make sure that Spicy Kraken Rolls could not push him. He had, you know, good high ground. It was difficult for him to die. You just got to play it very defensively now. And that's kind of why we're seeing a little bit more of an uprise in use of the Inkjet recently. It's because of how well it can do that.
Yeah, SKR did a great job of actually claiming a map control here in mid and getting their long-range weapons in a good position. That Splattershot Pro getting on top of the pillar, but Saikai did exactly the right move as they called out that they were there, and they had 3 members focus them down with burst bombs, so they literally could not move as they were covered in enemy ink. That's your biggest threat down, as having somebody with long range on top of that pillar can be so devastating when their aim is good, and Saikai was able to reclaim these zones and get rid of a good portion of their penalty. Chip also, despite the Inkjet not being a slaying special, as it were, still coming away with a nice kill there, and again, it's just a bloodbath as multiple are going to go down. I believe SKR went 3 down and Saikai 2 down. Saikai's going to come out of that one. No penalty to contend with so far, and they've gotten it all the way down to 33 here in these last 2 minutes.
I really liked Spicy Kraken Rolls, their play there, their team play. So basically, they didn't have any of their specials to be able to push in and actually take control of the zones. So what they did was they kind of just like threw each other at the zones. They kind of just all ran in there, and they did that as a way to charge their specials. And they got their Inkstorms up, and they used the Inkstorms now to push back in. Whereas before, they didn't have any specials. They kind of just played it safe, kind of tried to get some picks. But now that they got those specials, they could kind of just push in completely powerhouse style, and they were actually able to take the zones. And they got a little bit of a penalty to deal with, but not too much in terms of needing the lead here. They're pretty close, and their penalty's almost done. But it's up to Saikai to hold this defense here after they've been routed out.
And the fact that Spicy Kraken Rolls has been able to win these 1v1, sometimes 2v1 engagements without having to use their specials is so crucial, because they have just about 25 points left to get, not including the penalty. So the fact that they're able to win a lot of these engagements there, as we see double kill there coming out for Saikai, it's so huge, because now they still have that Inkstorm, and now they still have that splashdown for this last minute of the game, which is going to help them regain the zone, set Saikai back in their spawn, and have a chance to go to overtime to regain the lead.
Right, and I think that's Shaq, the person with the name 4Gamer. I believe that's Shaq. I could be wrong about that.
They are running the splatter shot, so I would hazard a guess at yes.
Right. So they got a very, very nice double kill there with the turnaround pick. Oh wow, that's actually now 4 down on the side of Spicy Kraken Rolls. So Saikai did a very, very good job holding that defense and pushing back in. And You got Chip with this Inkjet now. Again, he's going to be using it to just kind of zone people out. You don't really want to push into an Inkjet that's shooting at you. It's very, very difficult.
Oh, wow, drop roller.
Drop roller. It's going to find him a pick. Oh my god.
He gets a kill onto Bruce, and if it wasn't a PogChamp before the drop roller, that play right there, that's a PogChamp. A full wipe forced by Saikai onto Spicy Kraken rolls. They even got rid of their penalty, and that will do it. Saikai, they need the full time, but they'll come away from game one a winner. Nice job by them to get the early lead and set a precedent for themselves.
Absolutely. It's going to be 1-0 for Saikai now up against Spicy Kraken rolls, but that was, I think, the closest match we've seen yet. It was very back and forth. We expended the entire timer, and, you know, it was close the entire time. It was a very close match, so this is going to be good. I'm excited for the rest of this set.
Yeah, once again, no crazy KDs on either side, so definitely both teams able to slay their opponents at different points of the game. I think both teams did very well in grouping up together, making sure they pushed as a team, knowing when to use their specials. Sometimes, like I mentioned before, didn't even need to use things like their splashdown in order to win engagements. They were able to get multiple picks just with their main weapon, and that's going to be so important going forward. With how evenly matched these teams seem to be, it's going to be crucial when to use your special, especially moving on to Rainmaker, Snapper Canal. Rainmaker, you can move the objective as fast as you can, so getting those 2 or 3 down situations is going to be even more crucial in making progress on the objective. So you really have to be careful in terms of when to use that special, when to group up, and also knowing when that Rainmaker needs to be pushed over to the pedestal.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of a weird map. Again, we saw this on Splat Zones earlier. It's such a huge map, and every single part of the map is important. Even more so on Rainmaker, because now there's so many different ways to push the Rainmaker on this map. Whereas most maps have 2, maybe 3 ways to push the Rainmaker. Most of them have like 2 ways to push the Rainmaker. This one has like 5. It's actually very similar to Muscle Forge Fitness in that there's not really like one main way that people normally go. There's kind of just like a lot of different ways that you can take the Rainmaker. And because of that, it really opens up team comps. You kind of need long-range weapons in Rainmaker so that you can rotate quickly and you can have map presence somewhere completely different than you are right now in like a split second, because of how fast the Rainmaker can move and just kind of transfer sides in this map. And it's kind of more of a team comp game. When teams are evenly matched, it more or less comes down to the team comps on a map like this, on a map and mode like this.
And having more options in which to push the Rainmaker over to the pedestal just lends itself to the ingenuity of each team. How many ways can you think to push the Rainmaker forward? And if you can think of a way that the enemy team might not be watching, then you could have a good chance to sort of get the Rainmaker past them without them even realizing it. And so back to your point again about the team comps, with Saikai being known for running very short, aggressive comps, I usually don't see them branch out in terms of range further than, say, a sloshing machine. I think SKR might be able to abuse that with things like the Splattershot Pro and the Range Blaster that Mifa brought in. So if they can stay at their optimal ranges, they should have a good shot to take out Saikai and push the Rainmaker themselves. But if they allow Saikai to sort of flank around them, get in their faces and take them out, because they were winning a lot of their 1v1s in different engagements against SKR, then that's how Saikai is going to be able to clean up this set and take game 2.
Absolutely. And right now it's up to Spicy Kraken rolls. They're down a game, and I feel like this map and mode might cater a bit more to them as long as they have those weapons. So they do have the L3. Curling bombs are very, very good here. They have the Splattershot Pro again. That is a Forge instead of the Vanilla, so they don't have an Inkstorm there. Really interesting picks coming out from the SKR side of things, but I really liked Saikai's pick. They have that heavy Splatling. Again, like I said, having just that one long-range weapon on Rainmaker is really, really huge, because you need to be able to rotate very, very quickly on this map in order to defend a sneaky kind of fake-out push from the Rainmaker.
Yeah, and I want to point out that one of the 10 attacks for Saikai is running 3 mains worth of special power-ups, so they are really going to be relying on that Inkjet to do a lot of work, be that zoning tool that you mentioned, and also try and claim some kills as well. Chip branching out from the Octobrush into that heavy Splatling Deco, that's going to give them the bubble special that'll allow them to sort of get map control and also have those bubbles sort of be a passive warning to the enemy team saying, hey, if you come anywhere near here, we can melt you down. And that was a full wipe forced by Saikai onto SKR, and they're going to smartly wait for Brandon to come back, as we see a couple members of SKR are already back into the action, but now they're popping their specials. SKR backed up into their spawn and really backed up by that Inkjet as well. It's still acting as that zoning special with those 3 mains of special power up. Shaq going to try and push it forward. They may have to go all the way around. Unfortunately, they won't get it past the 46 mark, which is still not a bad push.
Absolutely, and I like the decision making there. Like, it looked like the push wasn't going too well for them, so they kind of just ran the Rainmaker to the side, trying to get as many points as possible. Good decision making, but now Saikai is actually in a really good spot. They got the bubbles up. They're going to be getting even more points. Oh, I like this. They're doing so many fake outs. This is so cool, and they got it up to 23 points now. Very, very close to the pedestal. They drop everybody except for Chip on that heavy splatling, so looks like Spicy Kraken Rolls has fully routed this push, but I think they got a lot more points out of that push than they first expected. I don't think they thought it was going to go that well. So fantastic job. And now it's up to Spicy Kraken Rolls. Being down 23 points less than halfway into the game is pretty rough on a big map like this. So we got to see them deal with this.
Yeah, Spicy Kraken Rolls definitely has the work ahead of them. They have plenty of time to do it. They are 2 down. The last 2 members, though, do have their special at the ready. So the Forge Ace here, waiting for the right time to pop this bubble special to try and keep the members of Saikai at bay. But first, they're smartly working on map control. They really are doing a great job of getting it back so far. Ace looking for any sort of kills onto Shaq, who's over here by 3 members of SKR. So a really dangerous situation to be in. Nobody really worrying about mid, which is a bit surprising. And unfortunately, the fall into the water, that's going to contribute to a 3-down situation for Saikai, and so SKR with a definite shot here to push this Rainmaker.
What was that pick on the Brella? I didn't think that was going to happen. Brellas don't normally lose 1v1s like that. I think that was just some good play by Squido. I don't know, the names are escaping me. So Spicy Kraken Rolls had a very, very good push there, but it looks like Saikai was able to show up and stop it. Brandon with this Brella. See, the Brella is so good at just stopping pushing. Because it has the Ink Storm, and it has the shield, and you can kind of just throw both of those up, and then there's like not really, oh my god, Mifa, the chase, over the jump. The Brella's really
desperation
because it has so many tools.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the Brella, I mean, one of the biggest draws about it, not only the Inkstorm, but also just the main survivability of the weapon. Knowing when to pop the shield aspect of that weapon, you can survive things like splashdowns, baller detonations. You really can have a major impact on the game just by popping that shield and staying alive. If you have teammates that are with you, that are able to clean up the person that's attacking you, that person's going to be distracted, and that should be an easy kill. That way, both of those players stay alive, and you can already have an odd man advantage going forward.
Yeah, definitely, and this is a really interesting match because it's been very, very back and forth. It was just that early 23-point push from Saikai that they got was really, really nice. And actually, speaking of pushes, they just got 4 players down now on the side of Spicy Kraken Roll, so they're going for another push here. That's the pro down again. They're going to be getting some more points on the board here. This could even be a knockout, as no, Shaq isn't quite able to get it up to the pedestal, but they're still here. There's 3 down now. They're going to pop this bubble. It's not over yet. They're going to be still going here. It's up to Brandon to be able to block this pedestal and try and find these picks. He can't do it. He does get the trade on Bruce, though. Chip has it. He's up to the pedestal.
Desperately trying to dance around that pedestal, but there's just no ink left. They got what they came for, though. A push all the way up to 4 with 40 seconds left to go is going to be so difficult for them to contend with. However, Spicy Kraken Rolls with 3 out of 4 specials to work with. So a baller, the bubble, and the splashdown at their disposal, with the last splatter shot also building up to their splashdown. So they're smartly sitting back, waiting for the right time to pop these specials. It's going to require overtime for sure. They smartly also wait for that Rainmaker to go back to mid so that they have less distance to cover when they're trying to make this overtime push.
Right, and this is a really interesting position for Spicy Kraken Rolls to be in. They have a lot of distance to make. The bubble's not popped. They need to be focusing the Rainmaker right now. They need to get that. They need to pick it up. They dropped a player in the meantime, and okay, that might be game. Oh, wow, they actually got the Rainmaker. It's up to Snitto right now to stay alive.
Oh, they can't be too aggressive, though. They have 55 seconds now on this Rainmaker to continue pushing forward, so they have to wait for reinforcements to try and get some picks. One already going down, but unfortunately, they will get melted by one of these splatter shots. A nice performance there by Saikai, getting it all the way up to 23, then 20, and then 4. Not looking back. It was still a very close game, though. A lot of fighting back and forth in mid, but the pushes just mainly went in Saikai's favor, and that's how they were able to come away with this game, too.
Absolutely, and Saikai's positioning on the defense there was really, really good. You saw they used the map very, very well. They had just positioning just all over the map. It wasn't like kind of 3 people boxed up in one place. They had people all over the map. They blocked all different ways that the opposing team could push, and they had a fantastic job just completely setting themselves up for a victory there on the defense. SKR was in a very, very tight position in order to be able to actually make that comeback. It was very, very unlikely. They did it well. They did what they could, but the defense from Saikai was just too strong, and it's kind of hard to deal with a strong defense like that on a map like this. So fantastic job to Saikai. I believe that was a winner's game, right? So they're going to be getting that bye into the bracket tomorrow, unless I'm wrong.
It was not actually. That was a losers quarterfinal match. So Saikai able to knock Spicy Kraken Rolls out of contention here to make it into top 12. They are now going to be taking on Eclipse Kansan 1 in a rematch